I didn't agree with a lot of things that he did, but my biggest issue was not whether I agreed with him or disagreed with him. It's just, damn, when did your opinion get you killed? You know, I mean, technically we are in the opinion space. You know, I don't want us to be in here having a good time talking about something crazy and then we go outside and somebody's that mad.
Podcast twins. Here we are in a twin cave, Vince.
We are definitely in the twin cave and we did not plan to be here today. So we are here today because of all of this amazing, crazy activity that happened not even 24 hours ago with the whole Charlie Kirk shooting and that's going on out here. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, where were you when you found out?
Sitting right in my desk here at work, man. I mean, Nick Chiera, you know, he sits right next to me. He's very news focused.
Right, yeah.
So, you know, he got 10 texts the second it happened, and then, you know, you texted me maybe an hour later after I was kind of focused on work and not really paying attention.
Right.
But then, you know, you texted me a video, and I mean, I don't understand, Vince.
It's absolutely crazy. I mean, I was just coming from playing golf, so as I walked in the house, I turned on the TV looking for whatever the afternoon programming was, and bam, that jumped up on the screen, and I'm like, wait a minute, I know that name, and I started to go back and look again, and I'm realizing, oh, that's that guy. Mm-hmm. So I was pretty familiar with Charlie Kirk without knowing I was familiar with Charlie Kirk.
His videos are all over social media. I know you're Facebook more than anything else, like I am, because we're old guys, right? The younger people than us use different social media platforms, but it was all over TikTok and Instagram, and I mean, it was everywhere.
He was everywhere.
I'm thinking, like, I didn't realize how famous he was.
Yes, and I mean, I didn't. Well, that's not true. I realized during election 1. For Trump, that he was connected and that he started to go out there and do all of these serious
prove me wrong.
Pushing, yeah.
He's known for prove me wrong.
So and that's my thing about. Look, I didn't agree with a lot of things that he did, but the one thing that I always had for him was that he was always willing to have the conversation. You know, no matter what, however you opposed him or whether you agreed with him, and I watched him doing a lot of those college campus things that he used to do, and you know, have that conversation. My biggest issue was not whether I agreed with him or disagreed with him. It's just, damn, when did your opinion get you killed? You know, I mean, technically we are in the opinion space. You know, I don't want us to be in here having a good time talking about something crazy and then we go outside and somebody's that mad.
But, you know, and of course it's tragic. It's horrible. You know, he had 2 little kids that are now going to grow up without a father, which is terrible. Right. We've talked about that a million times. You want a dad in the house.
In the house, yes.
Right? I mean, if you have the option, you want a dad in the house. And I'm actually kind of surprised you don't agree with more of what he talked about, because the clips that I've seen were always about family values and being a good person, being a good father. You know, he's very, very Christian.
I didn't say I disagree with
No,
everything.
I didn't say. I'm surprised you started out with, you know, you didn't agree with
because a lot of it I didn't.
And that's okay.
A lot of it I felt was very bigoted.
But you don't think he deserves a bullet for that?
Absolutely not.
So what would you say?
It's an opinion space.
No, but so what would you say was bigoted about, you know, his rhetoric, if you will? I'm just curious.
I'm
asking.
I don't want to overquote because again I don't have it like that, but I've watched a few of those. I guess they would be podcasts. I don't know
clips.
How to put it. Whatever.
Yeah,
but I've watched
clips.
a few of them like in the extent of 15, 20 minutes at a time. And I love how he bantered with the people as far as, like you said, he was the prove me wrong guy. So and I did like that about, again, you know, I'm a part-time Republican when it comes to my money and my guns. So so when it comes to that, I was cool with a lot of it. But again, I get when topics got to be I just felt a lot of times when they would get into deep racial sensitivity issues, I felt that it was very one-sided. Whether it be not necessarily just blacks, but the Jews and any other areas that they spoke against. But again, that's really worked along the party line as far as I was concerned. And he was just to the extreme, which is why he's popular, because nobody likes when you're not extreme, right? I mean, that's the thing. That's what made InfoWars guy, what's his name? God. I can't remember his name right now, but the InfoWars, he was an extremist, but again, when you're the extreme, that's how you gain that popularity, and that's fine because it did exactly what it was designed to do, which is to generate the conversation, and that I liked about Kirk is that no matter what you stood on, he was always willing to have that conversation. So if you're going to be in the opinion space, you have to at least be willing to banter back and forth to figure out how to prove yourself right or wrong or be indifferent. And so with that was the concern, I was cool with that. But like I said, no matter what I felt, I just did not think that under any circumstances should somebody in the opinion space have to worry about an assassination attempt. I mean, that's what it was. And it was a spot on shot. I mean, they pretty much... They accomplished the mission. That round ripped right through them. So there was no doubt right there on the spot. You know, we in our business we call that injuries incompatible with life. So I don't think he had a snowball's chance in hell to survive. I didn't have anything personal against him. Obviously, I mean I like to banter, so I like when people have a difference of opinion. Some of those things I agreed with. Some of those things I didn't. And again, just like with other politicians, which you know is my most hated subject in the world.
But you love pop culture, and it's the same thing you say also. So you contradict yourself there.
It is, but one doesn't mean anything, and well, neither one of them mean anything. One is just more entertaining than the next. Mm-hmm. No?
No, the audio isn't broadcasting.
Oh, they muted me.
Who's they?
We know who they is.
I don't know who they is. Some nerds in a computer room somewhere? What are you talking about?
Let's see. I tell you what, we're going to find out right now.
Why, are you going to say something crazy?
Nope, because I'm finna go and check it right now. Anyway, but anyway.
All you have to do is say that you're a big-time Donald Trump supporter, and then it'll probably just stop the feed.
It all goes away.
Whether that's true or not, if you say it.
It doesn't even matter. But my thing is, again, as people, we are, podcasters, and we're in the Facebook. I mean, we're in the public space. I don't want to be worried about you walking out. I don't want to be worried about myself walking out to, our vehicles or doing anything like that. But I don't think we have that kind of appeal to the world, personally. But
look, I mean, the whole point is you should be able to say whatever you want and have a free debate like that, right? If you disagree, the only way to come to some sort of agreement, and which is why politics suck, right? Like the politicians on one side and the politicians on the other side, they just want to fight each other on everything. They're not looking to compromise and make things better. They're looking to win.
They're looking to win.
And that's not helping anybody but themselves. So, where do you go next, Vince? I mean, like you got all of these things. I mean, there's all these, and maybe it's just that, information's immediate now, and there was always bad stuff going on.
Right.
But I don't think so. It seems like it's more, right? It seems like people are agitated, they're amped up, they're ready to fight until they lose and then kill somebody over it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane. So where do you draw the line of saying, like, how, what's causing this problem? Is it mental illness? Is it drugs? Is it brainwashing? Is it, MK Ultra? Is it the media? Like, who the heck, who's pulling the strings here? Because it's not an isolated incident either. This murder yesterday is not an isolated incident. It's not.
And look at the way it happened. So, and again, this is my big particular issue is, and they did mute us.
Okay.
That is funny. But particularly, and I'm gonna go back there and switch it. I think that the biggest issue with the way it went down yesterday is, again, a big, huge crowd. How in the world does somebody get to go up and perch up again after the ear shooting? How do you let a large crowd gather without security sweeping and checking these things out there, for this man to sit up there with that level of high power artillery and to be able to make a shot out there in the world like that? So first of all,
Can we go over to the police station and just pull a cop or two out of there and ask them questions about how that happens? Or security? You know some good security people or what?
I'll take it to a different level. I would say, who assisted it?
Who assisted the murder?
Who assisted the setup?
The setup.
I mean, look, what's today's date?
September 11th.
It's not that allegedly we haven't done this in the past. So, we've sacrificed people for the greater good of whatever that greater good may be. And so it's always, if this happens, what are they trying to hide? What's the cover up? You got to have something, the circus and bread, to cover up what's happening over there, right? We talk about circus and bread all the time.
But we talk about all the stuff that they're covering up. We don't, we're probably two of the few that talk about it. Like, we've had Russ on to talk about it 4 times now,
right,
about all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes that they don't advertise, and central bank digital currency and Planeteer and
right,
government surveillance and all the other stuff that's going on. So I guess they got to space the distractions out, so they keep them in the news feed to keep you distracted, because they did it. I mean, they won, right? We're here. I'm not working right now. You're not working right now. We're not spending time with our families. We're talking about this.
Yeah.
So they won. Whoever orchestrated this thing, if that was their goal, they won. They got us off of whatever we were doing.
Whatever it is that they were trying to cover up or hide or distract us from, it is working, because we are absolutely talking about that right here, right now. So, but it's scary to me, man, because, think about it. This man's 31 years old, and hey, listen, I feel for his young family, no doubt about it. No, again, even if I completely disagreed with him, which I didn't, the young family's going to suffer. His wife and his kids are going to grow up, without a father in the home, and there's never a good situation for that to occur. Never. But again, I think what's even scarier is, like I said, the fact that we as a country that's built on free speech and all of this other stuff that, supposedly was what we were founded on, I guess you could say. Man, that ain't so safe no more. That shit is just not safe. You can't go out there and say, well, I was doing the right thing. We've seen good protests turn into anarchy. We've seen, and whether it was brought on by an anarchist group that had nothing to do with the actual marches that's going on, versus other people that may have come in and thrown their hat in the ring just to create that anarchy. And unfortunately, we have seen some things that may be considered conspiracy, but when you really dig into it, is it really conspiracy? Again, look at all of the accidents that happen to these important people. These accidents that happen, these unfortunate incidents. A chef dying in 6 feet of water when he was an Olympic level swimmer, type situation. He's 6 feet and died in 6 feet of water.
Guys hanging from a tree with 2 shotgun rounds in his back, and they call it in suicide.
Right.
Yeah, of course, it doesn't make any sense.
Guy hanging from a doorknob. These, when a crucial minute of the video just mysteriously disappears. So, but we have understood that usually when something like that happens, we need to be looking underneath the surface while we're going, what's happening underneath? When 9/11 happened all those years ago, was it now 23 years ago now? What is it? Whatever.
Right after the Department of Defense couldn't find $2 billion or $20 billion or whatever it was, coincidentally.
This is all that I'm saying.
Yeah, of course.
All I'm saying is that,
look, you could believe in coincidences, or you could be a conspiracy theorist. You can't do both.
I think that they rely on us being with the shock value and go, oh my God, and believe
well, it
that.
does. I mean, look, you go on social media yesterday or today, and you got. I mean, I was even more shocked by the flippant and insensitive comments, and I don't know if those are bots or real people. I want to believe that they're bots because, you know, someone goes on there and like is cheering the murder, or they're saying like, oh yeah, well, Charlie had a shootable face. I actually saw that comment, heard that comment, and I'm like, how do you say that about a guy that just got shot in the neck and he's dead now, and his family has, you know, they lost their dad?
Keyboard gangsters, man. Keyboard gangsters is where it's at. That's really what's happening, man. You got a whole lot of keyboard gangsters out there, and that will never say anything to you in your face. They won't. They won't say a word to you in your face. Matter of fact, they'll come up and shake your hand and rub your back, right where they're going to ready to stab you as soon as they get back to their keyboard, because we've built a bunch of false tough gangsters out here in this world because social media has given them their own platform to be funny, what they feel is funny, or to be snide, whatever the case may be. I still say, whether you agree with the man or disagree with him, it didn't cost it. It should not have costed his life for an opinion space. And again, growing up, I've said it many times right here in this room, in this chair. Well, not this chair. These are brand new, wonderful chairs.
Yeah, well, I do like these new
in the
chairs.
Twin Cave.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've said it right here in this position that growing up, your politics was your business. That I mean, literally before the internet, what your parents were stayed amongst your household. Mm-hmm. The separation of church and state actually meant something during those times in our lives. You didn't know what your grandma, you know, you may have known it within your household, but very few people even wrote, before the 80s, even rode around with a political bumper sticker on their vehicle.
And even later, I mean, I went to college in 2000 to 2004, and there was one person that we all knew that talked about politics out of 33,000 students.
Okay.
Like in our whole dorm, which was 5 stories, there was one human being, my friend Matt.
Okay.
One human being that actually would have a political discussion, and everybody else looked at him like he was crazy and dismissed everything he said because we didn't want to talk about it because we didn't know anything about it, and it wasn't in your face.
Well, I remember it being in college. It was the same deal. I mean, you would have these, and that's what the great part about going to college is. I mean, as far as
you're in a bubble.
The education within the education for me is what makes college great. And so when you walked up on these things, like I didn't give one hoot about a politic coming out of Chicago. I didn't care. It was too big for me at that point. I didn't care. But when I got to school and you saw these little pods of people that were gathering and they were talking either politics or local politics or school politics, it awakened me. It was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? How does that affect me? And so I started to get a little bit more involved, not to the point of like where it consumed me, but hey, listen, I did migrate to a couple of those groups just to hear what they were saying. I realized that I knew absolutely nothing, and at that time we didn't have a computer to go find information. You know, you just was lost. But listen, man, I'm not really political now because I feel like they're all golfed together at the end of the day. They all take care of one another. They're all going to make sure that each other's wants and needs are taken care of.
The Illuminati takes care of their own. Is that what you're going to go?
They're going to make sure that they're each are taken care of. But
the Illuminati and the deep state don't exist. That was just a joke. This is for entertainment purposes only.
But I still feel like in that regard, we are in the heat of that. The fallout from such. And again, looking at 9/11, you know how I feel about it. If anybody can still tell me what happened to Building 7, right now would be a good time to do it. Put it in the live comments right now, because that it's not going to happen. So we have been known to do certain things. Donald Rumsfeld said they couldn't find it.
It just collapsed.
How many millions?
It just collapsed. Just accept it and move on.
Okay, it just collapsed.
Like, what's your problem?
Yeah, and so when all that went down, they killed all those people, and then they turned around and said, baseball. That's how we get the American people back. We put them out there and we send them to the Mets-Yankees game, and we change the 7th inning stretch to, come on, man. So anyway, we've known that distractions have been created. And I'm not saying that the Kirk situation is a thing, but I'm saying that while everybody's in this uproar, keep one ear open and one eye looking for what the possible cover-up that we're missing that could have possibly cost him his life. I don't know if it did, but with our history, we need to not be so blinded because we're so in shock and awe. Wait a minute, that was a war thing back in the day.
Well, that and, I mean, people react very emotionally one way or the other to any news.
But that's what they rely on. They rely on that emotional reaction to the shock and awe, as Bush put it in. I think that was Bush that said we was going to have shock and awe during that war. But it's we rely on that big boom. We rely on that. Without that, we don't have anything to really distract the public. We got to make it huge. It ain't got to be clean. It just got to be enough to get your attention and make people say, "Oh my God, I feel so bad." And again, hey man, listen, I feel bad for this man's wife and kids, having to go through this life alone. That is hard when you separated, let alone dead. So, no, I feel 100% bad for him. But on the flip side, we cannot allow that shocking situation to distract us. You got to still look under the table because there could be, historically, something else that's brewing beneath the surface that maybe some alphabet group said is a sacrifice.
I mean, who knows? Who knows who the shooter was?
Right. And
we don't know anything yet.
And then magically, so here's what I loved about it. The person that is in question is a gray-haired man wearing a blue shirt. And witnesses said that he said, "I do it again. I do it again." Now, these were within 20 minutes of the incident. 30 minutes of the incident when I got home?
That seems fast.
I mean, but again, we didn't know. So you knew that he was a white-haired man in a blue shirt, but you didn't know whether he was black, white, Puerto Rican, Indian. Nothing like that. I'm talking about the reports.
Well, somebody sent me a video of a gunman on a roof, and you couldn't tell anything about the gunman. It looked like a shadow.
But at that point, they said they had it.
Well, but hold on a second though. And my answer to that was, okay, I watched this video, and I looked at this gunman running around with a rifle. It was pretty obvious. It looked like a silhouette running around with a rifle, dressed all in, black.
Okay.
And I'm looking at it going, okay, well, I see the video, but it was like hours after it happened, right? So is it a real video? Who took the video? Did AI create the video? And I'm not saying
you have to though.
Well, but I'm not saying some crazy shit's happening. But I'm skeptical of a video that I see like that because I don't know anything about where that. I've fallen victim to clicking on an article that was fake, right? I got an article from somebody one day that texted it to me because people text us ideas to talk about on the podcast, and it was about the Budweiser factory in St. Louis shutting down because their stock dropped so bad, and all the transgender marketing and all the other stuff that they were doing. Yeah. And totally false. The Budweiser factory is not shutting down. No. I've been there actually because I lived in the Midwest. You might have been there too. And they got the Clydesdales, and it's a cool place.
It's a cool place.
Right?
Cool
Whether
place
you think Budweiser's the suckiest beer ever, which it's up there because I think their products are terrible, but the place is cool.
Right. Oh, no.
The place is cool.
Listen, the place is amazing.
It's a cool place.
Even when they used to have it in Busch Gardens, when they would bring the Clydesdale out there, it was awesome.
Yeah.
But again, fact-checking has become necessary in today's world because we don't want to be right. We want to be first. And then we want to be dramatic. So we don't care about the truth as much as we care about being first in this world of sending out information. Which is why I laughed when they gave the description of the shooter. I'm like, well,
when something happens, you have questions, right? You have 100 questions, but then you start getting a few answers, and those just lead towards asking 10 more questions each. So then when do you actually get, I mean, we might only get 30% of the truth on this subject or any other subject.
So I ask, who's going to be the Jack Ruby of this case? Somebody. Who's going to be the patsy? Somebody got to bite this.
Lee Harvey Oswald, whoever the Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, somebody's got to bite this. Now, again, what's the benefit? Who benefits? Because again, even now, look, I would have respected them more if they'd have been like, look, the shooter got away, we're in pursuit. But don't, come on, that whole
catch and release two or three people, man, we don't know who's doing what. That looks stupid.
That is to me, that makes law enforcement look horrible. It does. I'd rather you hold the information until you can get what you need to get, and then be able to present that with proof before releasing it out here to the public. But they know the public is so hungry for something. We got to give them something. So, okay, he had a blue shirt. Well, you know how many people in that audience had on
Probably more than one. I'm going to guess it was more than one.
It was quite a few people that had on a blue shirt. And again, at that point, was it on the roof? Are we sure of it? No,
I wasn't.
We're not sure of what anything happened.
I wasn't in Utah yesterday.
I was definitely not in Utah. I've actually never been to Utah.
I have, but only hiking in the mountains.
I haven't been to Utah. I planned to ski there one day. I heard it's amazing.
They got some really nice mountain ranges in Utah. Way off the subject, but that place is beautiful.
But regardless, my point is that I I haven't been there, but I wasn't there yesterday. But the way that these stories are manufactured, here's the truth, which is the shot. We saw that. It was horrible. But the way it manifested afterwards, the way we have been frightened into believing, wait a minute, are these paid actors that's going to give their real life account? Because it's happened in the past. So it's tough to even put your heart out into what you're hearing as far as eyewitness accounts, because we have been duped in this country by our own people.
Maybe that's the biggest way that they've desensitized us to the importance and the sanctity of human life in general, right? Because, this is not, like we said, an isolated incident, right?
No.
We are almost programmed, if not programmed, let's call it programmed, to look at something and say, okay, well, that doesn't affect me directly.
Right.
And I don't even know if it's true.
Right.
And it looks legitimate, but who knows? And then, you see a video of a guy running around on a roof, and you're like, well, that I got a question because it was hours later. Right. So is that a fake video?
Exactly.
Is it a real video? Who took the video? Who got the video? But that's that Denzel Washington interview where they ask him, I guess he was involved in some scandal allegedly that turned out to be not true, and they asked him what happened, and he goes, well, the media doesn't have to be right, they just have to be first to report something.
They got to be first, and
I'm misquoting him, I'm sure, but I'm close enough.
But that's unfortunately the world we live in,
because you have to have people have to have their instant gratification. I'm sure the second this happened, 15 seconds later, it was posted.
Yeah,
right? Again, it was posted up on everything.
You're talking about desensitizing. I hope parents got a hold to their kids' social media as fast as they could. So that's nothing you want your kids to see. A 10-year-old watching this guy take a horrific shot to the neck.
They're already seeing the fake version in the commercials in between football and baseball games.
Yeah,
with horror movies and stabbing people and all kinds of other stuff. My daughter runs out of the room hiding her eyes.
So, but at least
at a commercial while we're just trying to enjoy a football game.
I get it, and you're right. The difference is, I would say, is that it could be a person. Let's say if the parent was a Kirk fan and would watch those debates at the home. Now you put a name to the face that just got, his head, basically ripped off for all intents and purposes. I equate that to, and then ironically they went back to the announcement of the MLK shooting yesterday. They kind of did that, and how they announced it. When RFK made the announcement to his people. I believe he was in Chicago at that. I'm not sure where he was, but he made the announcement and the crowd was just stunned because MLK was a very, very prominent figure in the world at that particular time. The Malcolm X shooting, whether you agree with the man or not, this man had 4 daughters and the wife that still now had to live without their father. Again, but both of those turned out, along with the Kennedys, both of them, turned out that they had way more political.
All right, fine, that's enough. I'm going all in. Here we go.
They had way more political
I'm not. All right,
than
fine.
anything else. Let's go.
I was reserved, but it's not. It's coming out.
why.
Now. It's coming out now, Vince.
Let's go.
So here's the deal. I can guarantee you, with this happening yesterday, and there was a school shooting with 2 people injured, and the gunman committed suicide in Colorado yesterday as well, and there was a couple of other things, and then that girl got stabbed on the train or whatever. That blonde white girl got stabbed on a train somewhere. I don't know the whole
hear
details.
about that one, but okay.
But I can guarantee you, with all of that going on in the news feeds, very few people saw the press conference with Donald Trump and Bill Gates talking about how Bill Gates is going to keep poisoning us more and more in our food, in our water, in increasing vaccines, etc., etc., etc. So I'll ask you, Vince.
And that's why I love my twin.
Oh, we're going to keep going. So I'll ask you, Vince. Did you see that video?
I did not.
I sent it to you on Facebook.
I was probably too distracted watching all of the repeats of the Charlie Kirk shoot.
You asked.
I did ask.
You asked. What are they hiding underneath?
What's underneath? And
I don't know. I mean, I don't trust Bill Gates. I don't know Bill Gates.
I don't know him.
But I have seen him talking about depopulating the planet.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have seen him talking about putting a peel on all our fruits and vegetables, which is a poison.
Yeah.
I have seen him talking about 4 more versions of COVID vaccines.
Come on.
I mean, is he an evil supervillain? And is he working with Trump? Right? I mean, I don't know. Trump seemed like he was against all this stuff. And now he's sitting next to him. So, I know what hold on. I'm going to keep going.
No,
I know the Republicans will say and that he's playing 5D chess and he's keeping his friends close and his enemies closer. But how long do we trust the process if we're in fact trusting? We don't trust anything. But how long does anybody trust the process if they're trusting the process? Because again, when it comes to politics, I only care about 3 things in politics.
Go ahead. Tell them.
Clean food, clean air, clean water.
And clean water.
Stop spraying poison on me and my children. Mm-hmm. And I don't see it happening, right? I mean, our governor, Ron DeSantis, made it illegal to spray chemtrails. I still see chemtrails. Didn't do anything. So, go ahead.
It's a lot of things.
Come on, Vince.
No, hey, listen.
Come on.
Again, my point may have been proven, or at least one of them. The fact that what is the greater good in the eyes of those that might be in control? See, here's the thing. We're not in control of anything. If you're not in that top 1% of 1%, no decisions are really made to benefit you or me.
It just depends on how many politicians you own.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You're not in the top 1% of the 1%, so you don't control any politicians. There are cartels that control more politicians than you and I ever could or would. So, at the end of the day, it's about the money. Who controls the money? Who controls the power? What did they say in Scarface? First you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the women. So, once you have the money, you got power. You're going to establish and leverage that power. And like I said before, the unfortunate part is historically, allegedly in this country, we are willing to sacrifice one or more for that greater good of who's going to win and benefit down the road. Wars have been created to help companies survive. These things have been uncovered many decades after the wars are over. Again, one of my favorite stories is a Bell helicopter was about to go belly up before the Vietnam War. Before they were literally about to fold up shop. Boom, Bell Helicopters now the supplier for the Vietnam War. Very viable company. Hey, look, we're on the 1%. I'm going to look out for you. I got to make sure that you're good because you're going to look out for me. That's where we have been historically. Now, by the time they started to let these things trickle out, 75 years before we figure out what happens to Kennedy and MLK and all of these people. Why do they do that? Because they want to cover up make sure all of those people who were a part of it were dead, and it won't affect their families, because we cannot hurt those that are in that power class. We just can't do it. Now whether this young man was a fan favorite of some, a lot of my friends and compadres in my social media world, it sounded like they lost a family member. And I'm like, well, okay, listen, because I got friends that I completely disagree with politically, but they're still my friends, or at least associates, sometimes deep associates. We just happen to disagree politically, and that's okay, because I don't really care that much about politics. I care about how you treat me as an individual. So that part doesn't bother me as much. And so to see them, more than mourning the loss of a human being that's a part of a family, that it felt like they really felt that.
They saw it as a political rival is out of the way.
Well, no.
That's how some people saw it.
I'm talking about my folks that was on his side. They felt they were speaking of it like they lost a nephew or something, and that's cool if that's how they felt about him. That's all fine, well, and good. But just don't be distracted to the point where you miss what I missed, and I'm gonna have to go back and watch that interview, because there's always some things underneath the surface that's happening that eventually comes out and shows itself as the possible.
The wizard's still hanging around behind the curtain.
Yeah. That is
whoever
awesome.
That is.
Whoever it is. And it's usually a power player that makes sure that 1% takes care of that 1%. So we have to.
And that's been going on for 10,000
years,
5,000 years, whatever.
The powers that be will make sure that the powers that be stay in power. They want us to fight among ourselves and to be distracted and be entertained, while they continue to make power moves that's going to push their agenda forward. You just mentioned what Mr. Bill Gates was discussing in that interview. That's for me, that's horrible news. But again, how do you go from being a computer guy or stolen computer guy, whatever the situation is, you go from being a computer guy to now you're going to fix the world? What qualifies you into going into this world? But at the same time, I guess it's the same thing that happened in 1913 once the Federal Reserve was created, and we started paying taxes on our checks, and then at the same time, same year, the Rothschild Foundation was formed to go ahead and take control of the medicines, education, and those things.
But that just happened all as coincidence, that.
It just happened all, but it was for the greater good. Sure. It was for the greater good for those that are up there. Everybody else underneath just wind up having to deal with the effects of the BS.
Are people battling being in the Matrix and doing Matrix stuff while they still understand that all this stuff is going around? Because it's a battle. If you know what's going on behind the scenes, and then
do you want to know what's going on behind the scenes?
Well, that's the whole thing.
The red pill, blue pill.
Well, I lived in ignorant bliss until 2020. I told you this. Yeah, I'm very open about the fact that I couldn't even name the vice president or the speaker of the House until 2020. And, I was in my 30s.
Yeah.
30s. So, I was living in ignorant bliss, and I kind of miss it sometimes.
It's a beautiful place to be.
I miss it.
Because the bad part is once you take that, I can't remember if it's the red or the blue pill.
It's the red pill.
It's the red pill. Once you take that red pill, you can't take it back. You can't take it back. I mean, you can't spit it up. I don't care if you vomit. It ain't. It's real. Once you start to see what the world is, you now have to make a choice. Do you go along with what the world is doing, or do you say, you know what, I just gotta buckle down and protect me and mine? And really, once you get to the point where that truth, I call them truthisms, because is really the truth, or at least what you can find and figure as the truth. Understand the bottom line, that every decision that has been made in this country in our lifetime and way before has been about building the wealth of that upper 1%. And if we can figure that out, if we can figure out how to manage that, maximize what we do at our level, because we'll never get to that point. I don't care if you hit the lotto tomorrow, that still don't give you enough power to go out there and create that level of power that it's going to take to influence these people up top, because they don't trust you yet, because they don't know if you got no dirt on you. Epstein Island. I mean, they don't know how dirty you have been, but that's why they play together. Come on, man. You know what Denzel said in Training Day? Come on, man. Take the money. The fellas need to know, man. It's hard to trust you if you ain't got no dirt on you. You know, these are these things that happen in real life, man. But look, I hate that we had to cut away a part of our day to day for this subject matter, because at the end of the day, a life was lost. A father, husband, but in our space, a person that used this free speech to say whatever it is he wanted to say.
To make points.
And I think that it's a damn shame that and if that's the case, if it is exactly as it appears, or that they want it to appear, that someone took him out for his
because they oppose
stance.
what he says.
Man,
whatever the topic was.
What a damn shame. What a shame that we have to live with in this country. If it's just that simple, because again, anybody doing what we're doing right now with an opinion could now be, scared for your life. It's crazy. Think about that. If you're talking about anything else other than entertainment, sports, and even the sports world probably can get that crazy too, because you'd be surprised how many death threats that these athletes are getting, coaches get on a daily, weekly basis because you made them lose their bet, or whatever the case is, or these fanatics, because we forget that that's what fans stand for. These fanatics have their team lost, and now you got to walk around for a whole week, with a loss hanging on your head. And I'm like, dude, this affects your life 0%, but yet you're going to walk around like the world has come to an end.
It's a lost baseball game or football game, insane. Or hockey game, not a death of a human being.
Not a death of a human being.
Not the same thing.
So, mark my words, in the next week, you won't even hear a word about this, because the next big thing will have happened. We'll either have a great weekend of football starting down this weekend, and it's going to be amazing, or something else will happen to take over the headlines, man. We are about the next big thing, and it's a shame, because again, I respected the fact that he would have the conversation. When those students would get up there and they would oppose him, he would sit there and let them have their point. 9 times out of 10, because he was more polished, he would slice and dice them.
Well, I mean, one clip that I remember was really interesting to me. You might like this one. This young lady walked in there, and she said, I really want to get better at making my arguments. I really want to get better at debating a person like you. Mm-hmm. How would you do it if you were me?
Oh, good.
And he told her to, read these books, read these periodicals, follow these people that talk about conservative talking points.
Right.
And then learn what their stance is. Yeah. And that's, I guess, that's his philosophy. That's how you debate, right? Like, if you and I completely disagree on something, I have to learn your point of view before I can argue against it.
I have to perfect your point of view. Literally, I have to perfect your point of view before I can refute it at all. And so, in that regard, I mean, he was definitely very educated in that space. He held their attention, and again, it was always entertaining to me. whether I agree with the topics or not. And I've seen quite a few. A few things make you cringe, a few things make you a little emotional, but at the same time, he was willing to have the conversation. If we can find more people on both sides of the fence and in the middle that is just willing to have the conversation after you learn what's happening on the other side, we actually, and I'm talking about us down here, I'm not talking about them up top, we might actually be able to figure out a way to get along, because we only don't get along because they tell us not to get along.
A buddy of mine said he wants to start a podcast similar to what we do, but he wants to make it all about politics because he has somebody that he is very conservative, and his partner on the podcast is very liberal.
Yeah.
And they want to have conversations and then take those conversations to the politicians.
Okay.
And I thought it was I literally learned about this a day ago,
right,
yesterday morning, and I thought it was a pretty cool idea. Will it affect any change? I have no idea.
We don't know.
But at least he's trying something.
I'm
right?
with that.
And that's what, and that would be, he said that the only thing he doesn't like about our podcast is we agree too much.
Yeah, and you know what?
And I was like, well, we're twins. What do you expect?
Right.
But
we shared the same womb.
Philosophically or whatever. Literally. That's what you can use the word literally with liberalization today.
Seriously, I think it would be a good idea
it's an
for
interesting
them to pull
idea.
that out. And again, when we have our debatable points, we have them. But at the same time, I don't want to debate just for the sake of debate. Mm-hmm. It's got to be something innate. It's got to be something that's real in my world to make it happen. But anyway, listen, man.
Let's get the heck out of here before Bill Gates' people come put bags over our head and put us in a van.
So, woosah. So what I'm gonna say right now is, once again, rest in peace to Charlie, and our wishes to his family, because no matter what, he's still gonna be he's a father. And a husband, and he will be missed within that spectrum. But we want to remind you that this is still the Podcast Twins, and we want to make sure that you subscribe to our Facebook channel, our YouTube channel, all of our Instagram, everywhere. Please just subscribe to us and give us some ideas of the things you would like to hear with me and my identical twin right here.
We can go even deeper next time on who knows what.
Because I identify as a threat, and my pronouns are try me.
Sounds about right.
See? Because politically, they gave me this right to identify as what I want.
And he means try him by asking him questions and challenging his opinions. Don't shoot him from a roof 3,000 feet away.
Yeah, please. Yeah, let's do it right here online.
There you go.
I'm even dealing with my keyboard gangsters out there. Let's get real. Anyway, what we're gonna do is we're gonna break out of here because
it's time to go focus on our lives.
I'm about to go eat some meat.
Even better.
About to go do. So anyway, hey, you guys take it easy.
Podcast Twins out. We'll see you next time.
Peace.